Spider-Man has lost Tony Stark. He lost Aunt May, he lost his identity, and in the end, he lost everyone he ever loved. But here's the crazy part. Every single one of those moments leads directly into Brand New Day. So to understand where Peter is today, we have to go back to where it all began. It all started in Captain America: Civil War. Peter Parker is just a normal teenager from Queen until Tony Stark suddenly knocks on his door. Tony recruits Peter to fight alongside Team Iron Man during the Civil War. The funny part? Peter has almost no idea what the conflict is actually about. He's just excited because his favorite superhero asked him to help. For Peter, this isn't politics, it's the chance to prove that he belongs. And that's all you really need to know from Civil War, because his real journey starts after this. Now, Peter has to balance two completely different lives. During the day, he's just another awkward high school student. At night, he's Spider-Man. He's obsessed with becoming an Avenger and keeps trying to impress Tony Stark every chance he gets. This movie also introduces the people who'll shape Peter's life. His hilarious best friend Ned, his crush Liz, and a quiet classmate named MJ who doesn't seem important yet. But trust me, she will be. Everything changes when Peter stops a group of criminals using advanced alien technology. That raises one huge question. Where did they get weapons like that? Peter starts investigating on his own. Meanwhile, Happy Hogan, who's basically Tony Stark's security chief, is completely exhausted by Peter constantly calling him with updates. He tells Peter to stay out of it. Peter ignores him, because that's exactly what Spider-Man does. Eventually, Peter discovers the man behind the entire operation, Adrian Toomes, the Vulture. After the Battle of New York, Toomes secretly collected leftover Chitauri technology and built an illegal weapons empire from it, and Peter is getting way too close to exposing everything. Then comes one of the greatest twists in MCU history. Peter arrives to pick up Liz for homecoming. Her father opens the door. It's Vulture. The man he's been hunting is the father of the girl he's taking to the dance. From that moment, everything becomes personal. Vulture attempts one last massive score by hijacking the Avengers transport carrying valuable Stark technology. Peter refuses to let it happen. The battle ends with both of them crashing near Coney Island. Peter saves Vulture's life, even after everything. And Vulture is finally arrested after seeing what Peter is capable of. Tony Stark offers him something he's dreamed about since Civil War, an official place in the Avengers, but Peter surprises everyone. He turns it down because he realizes something important. The world doesn't need another Avenger. It needs a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Most fans overlooked this scene, but now it suddenly matters again. In prison, Mac Gargan, better known as Scorpion, approaches Vulture. He wants Spider-Man's real identity. Vulture could expose Peter immediately, but he doesn't. Instead, he keeps Peter's secret, and after all these years with Scorpion finally returning in Brand New Day, that forgotten post-credit scene could finally pay off. At the end of Homecoming, Peter finally proves he's a real hero. But what comes next changes his life forever. When Ebony Maw attacks New York, Peter jumps into action without thinking twice. One decision later, he's accidentally on a spaceship heading into deep space. Now he's fighting alongside Iron Man, Doctor Strange, and the Guardians against the biggest threat the universe has ever seen, Thanos. Peter gives everything he's got, but it isn't enough. Thanos snaps his fingers, and Peter is one of the heroes who disappears. His emotional goodbye to Tony Stark remains one of the MCU's most heartbreaking moments. 5 years later, the Avengers pull off the impossible. Everyone who vanished returns. Peter joins the final battle against Thanos, helping save the entire universe. But victory comes at the highest price. Tony Stark sacrifices himself using the Infinity Stones. Peter doesn't just lose a mentor, he loses the man who believed in him before almost anyone else. That loss follows him into his next story, trying to move on from Tony's death. Peter heads to Europe on a school trip. For the first time in a long while, he just wants to be a normal teenager, spend time with MJ, forget superheroes for a few days. Unfortunately, that never happens. Massive creatures made of fire, water, earth, and air begin attacking cities across Europe. Nick Fury recruits Peter to help stop them, but this time, he's not fighting alone. He meets Quentin Beck, a mysterious hero claiming to be from another universe whose world was destroyed by these elementals. Peter trusts him almost immediately. Before he died, Tony left Peter one final gift, the Edith Glasses, a powerful AI system capable of controlling an entire satellite network filled with advanced Stark drones. Peter isn't ready for that responsibility. At one point, he almost accidentally targets his own classmates. That's when reality hits him. He's terrified that he'll never live up to Tony Stark's legacy. Believing Beck is more experienced, Peter hands Edith over to him. The biggest mistake of his life. Quentin Beck was never a hero. He's Mysterio, a former Stark employee who secretly hated Tony. The elementals, completely fake. Every attack, every disaster, every miracle. It was nothing more than thousands of Stark drones creating massive holographic illusions. His real target? London. And with Edith under his control, Mysterio becomes more dangerous than ever. Broken and overwhelmed, Peter calls Happy Hogan. Instead of giving him another lecture, Happy reminds him why Tony trusted him in the first place, not because Peter could become the next Iron Man, because he could become the first Spider-Man. That speech changes everything. Peter rebuilds his confidence and creates a new suit, faces Mysterio one final time, and defeats him by trusting his instincts instead of his eyes. For one brief moment, everything seems perfect. Peter and MJ officially become a couple. The nightmare is finally over, or so he thinks, because Mysterio planned one final move before dying. He releases edited footage to the entire world, framing Spider-Man for his own murder, and then drops the biggest secret in MCU history. Spider-Man's real name is Peter Parker. In a single broadcast, Peter loses his greatest weapon, his secret identity, and from this point forward, his life will never be the same. Peter's identity is no longer a secret. The entire world now knows that Spider-Man is Peter Parker, and overnight, his life falls apart. Some people support Peter. Others believe Mysterio's final lie, that Spider-Man murdered him. Peter is dragged into legal trouble, constantly chased by the media, and his family and friends become targets too. Even though he gets an excellent lawyer and avoids prison, the damage is already done. Because of the controversy, Peter, MJ, and Ned all lose their chance to get into MIT. Peter realizes one painful truth. Everyone around him is suffering because of him. Desperate to fix everything, Peter asks Doctor Strange for one impossible favor: make the entire world forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Strange agrees, but while casting the spell, Peter keeps changing the rules. Wait, MJ should remember. Ned too, Aunt May, and Happy. Each interruption destabilizes the spell until it completely breaks. Instead of erasing memories, it tears open the multiverse. Now villains who know Spider-Man's identity begin arriving from other universes. Dr. Octopus, Green Goblin, Electro, Sandman, Lizard. Instead of destroying them, Peter believes they deserve a second chance. That's who Peter Parker is. Even after everything, he still sees the good in people. So instead of sending them home to die, he decides to cure them. One by one, he captures the villains and brings them to Doctor Strange's sanctum. Later, he moves them to Happy Hogan's apartment to continue working on the cures. The plan actually starts working. Dr. Octopus is successfully cured for a moment. Feels like Peter made the right choice. Then Norman Osborn loses control. The Green Goblin takes over, chaos erupts, and Aunt May is caught in the middle. Before she dies, she tells Peter the words that define every Spider-Man. With great power comes great responsibility. Peter loses the person who meant the most to him, and for the first time, he wants revenge. Just when Peter is at his lowest, two familiar faces appear, the Spider-Men from other universes. Both of them know exactly what Peter is feeling, because they've lived through the same pain. They remind him that revenge won't heal anything. Being Spider-Man means standing back up even after losing everything. Their words bring Peter back. Now all three Spider-Men fight together to finish what Peter started. The three Spider-Men cure every villain instead of killing them, even Green Goblin. Meanwhile, another surprise happens. Ned accidentally discovers he can open portals using Doctor Strange's sling ring. It may seem like a small moment, but it could become important in the future. Despite curing the villains, the bigger problem remains. The multiverse itself is breaking apart. Cracks spread across reality, and countless beings who know Peter Parker's identity are about to enter this universe. Doctor Strange can't stop it alone. Peter realizes there's only one way to save reality. He asks Doctor Strange to cast one final spell, not to erase Spider-Man, but to erase Peter Parker. This time, everyone forgets him, MJ, Ned, his classmates, even Doctor Strange. Every memory of Peter Parker disappears. The multiverse is saved. But Peter loses the people he loves most. Peter starts over from nothing. A tiny apartment, no family, no friends, no one who remembers his name. He almost tells MJ the truth, Reed. But after seeing her finally safe, he makes the hardest choice of his life. He walks away, alone, still Spider-Man, but no longer Peter Parker in anyone else's eyes, and that's exactly where Brand New Day begins. So after No Way Home, Peter has absolutely nothing left. No Avengers, no Tony Stark, no Aunt May, no MJ, no Ned. No one remembers Peter Parker ever existed. He's forced to rebuild his entire life from scratch while continuing to protect New York as Spider-Man. That's exactly where Brand New Day picks up. But before we end, there's one more character you should remember. Bruce Banner is confirmed to appear in Brand New Day, so here's a quick refresher. Bruce is the scientist who became the Hulk after a gamma radiation accident. Whenever he loses control, he transforms into the giant green monster we've seen throughout the MCU. For years, Bruce struggled to balance his intelligence with Hulk's rage. Eventually, he combined both personalities and became Smart Hulk, giving him Hulk's strength with Bruce's mind. But based on everything we've seen so far, Brand New Day seems to bring back a much more human version of Bruce Banner. Exactly why that change happened, we still don't know. There's another detail many fans completely forgot. During She-Hulk, Marvel revealed that Bruce has a son named Scar. Right now, we have no confirmation that he'll appear in Brand New Day. But with Marvel slowly setting up the next generation of heroes, it's definitely something worth keeping in the back of your mind. When you connect every Spider-Man movie together, you realize this was never just another superhero story. It's the story of a kid who kept losing everything, yet never stopped choosing to do the right thing. He lost Tony, he lost Aunt May, he lost his identity, and in the end, he even lost the people who loved him most. Now, Peter isn't fighting to become an Avenger anymore. He's fighting to rediscover who Peter Parker really is, and that's exactly why Brand New Day feels so important. This isn't just another Spider-Man movie. It's the beginning of an entirely new chapter. Now, I want to hear your prediction. Do you think Peter will finally get his old life back, or is Marvel giving us a completely new Spider-Man era? Drop your biggest theory in the comments, and if you don't want to miss future Marvel breakdowns and hidden details, make sure you subscribe. Brand New Day is almost here, and we're just getting started.